Perfect. Let's move on with SQL integration with Python. So far as we know, and we have performed data analysis using Pandas. Now we'll integrate Python with SQL using SQLite. This allows us to create databases, create tables, insert records, execute SQL queries, and load SQL results directly into Panda DataFrames for further analysis. This is a very common workflow used by data analysts and business analysts in real-world projects. The first query, as you can see, import SQLite. It basically means import Python's built-in SQLite library. It allows Python to communicate with SQLite database and import pandas as PD. So we use it to load SQL query results into a data frame. This is basically import pandas, and the short form is PD. Okay. What we use it for? We use it to load SQL query results into a data frame. Okay. Then let's see. Now this is a query where we create a SQLite database. So con is connection is equal to SQLite.connect bracket test database.SQLite. Now what this does is, first, what is SQLite.connect? SQLite3.connect. So this creates a connection between Python and the database. Okay. And that database is, file name is called test database.SQLite. So if the file doesn't already exist, SQLite automatically creates this. So we build a connection. Now this stores the database connection. We'll use this connection for all our SQL operations. Then there is a third, that's create a SQL table. Now we'll execute this connection. Okay. Now first, when we create the connection, I want to show exactly where the connection can be. So just a minute, let me just open the folder, and yeah, I'll just show you that. Okay. So as you can see on the screen here, this is what it's created, test database.SQLite. Okay. So yeah, whenever we do that, whenever we create the SQLite.connect, that's what it creates. Okay. So yeah, I hope you understand. Let's share the same page again. Perfect. So just a minute to make it stereo. Yeah, I think it's fine right now. Perfect. So now this is a query which is to create a SQL table. So we use con.execute parenthesis. It runs a SQL query for Python. Create table. It creates a brand new table. Then users is the table name. So we create the users table. First name text, country text, budget integer. So first name text is basically, it creates a column for customer names. Country text stores country names, and budget integer stores numeric budget values. Now con.commit is basically, it permanently saves the changes. So without commit, the table would disappear once the connection is closed. Think of it like clicking save in Microsoft Word. Okay. Then there is insert records into SQL table. Now what is cursor? Cursor basically creates a cursor object. The cursor is used to execute SQL commands. So cursor executes the commands insert into values. Madhav, India, 5000, Rishabh, Germany, 2500, Vaishakha, India, 2500, and then we commit it again. Insert into is basically add records into a table. Okay. Now users, the specifies the table where records should be inserted. Okay, so users specifies the table where the record should be inserted. Now, as you can see, the values, each row represents one customer. Okay, each row represents one customer. So con.commit obviously saves the inserted records permanently. Then we move on, and that's why we get the uh, after the query solved, we get data inserted successfully because we print it, and this is done. Then we move from read data from SQL into pandas. Now, as you can see in this query, we have the connection is equal to SQLite 3 that bracket, that is a parenthesis, test database dot SQLite. This reconnects Python to the database. Now the query is select this hash is basically all from users. If you know a bit about SQL, you know that this is all. Okay. So it stores the SQL query inside a Python string. Okay. Now, okay, then there is gf results is equal to pd.read SQL query dot connection. So pd.read SQL executes the SQL query and loads the result directly into Pandas data frame. This combines SQL and Pandas together. Okay, so pd.read.sql, what it does is it directly loads a result in the Pandas data frame. Okay, it directly loads the data, it directly loads the result directly in the Pandas data frame. This combines SQL and Panda together. So that's df dash results. Okay. Then there is a query that df dash results dot head. So whatever is stored in the df dash results, we get in the head. The first five tables or columns. So this is like the first five rows. I'm sorry, the first five rows. And then we perform SQL aggregation inside Python. Now, the query is select country sum budget as total budget from users group by country, and the same query df aggregation.pd.read.sql query.con df aggregation. So select country basically returns each country. Sum budget adds all budget together as total budget. Renames the calculated column group by country, calculates total separately for each country. So df aggregated is equal to pd.read.dash SQL brackets query dot comma connection. It loads the SQL results into pandas. So instead of calculating total using pandas, SQL performs the aggregation first. Okay. So yeah, that's how we get the aggregation in the total budget. Okay. So now let's execute the SQL query using the database connection. Now, first what we have to do is we have to update the existing record. Now, you see, we have done a mistake here. Here in India, the I is capital and here it's small. That's why we have like two total budgets for India, which should not be the case, right? So what we do is we update users and we execute the query. Okay. So what update does is updates existing record. Set is basically helping like set country is equal to India is basically specifies a new value where country is small in small letters India. So this is what I want. That's why I use set. Where we use only for updating matching rows. So here the lowercase India becomes India, okay, and India with like a I capital, okay. Now there's con.execute query, which executes the SQL update, and con.commit. It permanently saves the update, okay. So after running the aggregation again, you will notice India's total budget changes because the updated rows are now grouped together under the same country name. Okay, so yeah, I think that's cool. Then moving to the next query. I think once we do the update thing, we get this, but this is wrong because the total of India is 25,500, not 8,500, because your table still contains duplicate records from running the insert cell multiple times. Now we see the duplicate record issue. What is exactly the issue? Now, what is now see in if we want to solve this issue, first we have to go in the Jupyter Notebook file open where I've showed the data file. We have to delete it and then return to a notebook and restart the kernel and then automatically create a new database SQLite file, and then we have to again write those queries. So I haven't done that. I have just, given this issue as like this is just an issue which we haven't focused on, but we can focus on it. We can create the test dot database SQLite files, and we can again rewrite the queries and get proper uh, budget. Okay. But right now it's not important. I just wanted to show you this mistake because mistakes can happen and it is very important. When mistakes happen, that time only we understand how we can correct it. So here I have tried to modify it, but it didn't really get corrected. You see, by set and where I tried to do it, but it didn't happen, and that's why now we have to kind of again do the same process. So here, this is just a solution which I wanted to give you guys because this is very important. We normally learn from our mistakes. And anyway, after completing the work, we put it on close because it's very important to close the database connection and then delete the SQLite database file. So yeah, when the notebook runs again, a fresh database is created, a table is created, and only one copy of each record is inserted. This gives us clean and accurate results, and we use connection.close. Why? Because to close the database connection. This releases system resource and is considered a best practice after finishing database operation. So every data analyst and business analyst does this. So please remember that, okay? The mistake and this connection.close. Perfect. We'll move on to the eighth one of our project, and yeah,